All right, all right, all right, all right. We are live. Let me know if my audio is good. Can y'all hear me? Can you see me? Do we sound okay? We are going to get started, baby. This is going to be the topic of discussion probably for the rest of the week. I do sense a little back and forth might be going on. Some people have already responded to what MoNique had to say on Club Shay Shay. So this is going to be a really good show. I'm riding y'all through the night shift. This is my bus. Y'all already know how we do on the bus. So listen, do me a favor on your way in. Hit the like button while I let the intro play. And we're just going to get straight into all that needs to be discussed. Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood in real life. And I'm always going to be giving y'all that sticky, icky syrup. So without further ado, let's let the intro play. Drop them pancakes down below in the chat. Subscribe and welcome to the channel if you are new. Okay, you are a sticky, you are a part of the pancake posse. Let's go.
I'm just waiting for the buzz. Oh,
Yeah, you keep on saying shit about my fucking kid, and you annoying me and aggravating me. And I'm trying to enjoy my life.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain Jane.
Standing at the bus stop, sucking on a lollipop. Once she gets pumping, it's hard to make the hottie stop. Hottie stop, stop, stop.
You ready? All right now. This could be a crazy ride. I'm warning you now. The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of... What up and welcome back. I'm Jane, the plainest Jane, and over on this channel, we sip syrup in the form of Black news and celebrity updates. I am so happy and I am so honored that you have decided to watch this video for whatever reason, whether you're a day one, whether you are a new subscriber, a new supporter, a new channel member, somebody from the Discord, or if this is your first time ever coming across the channel. Just want to give you a warm welcome. I implore you to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Let's go ahead and just start right off with it. Yes, I'm petty for the thumbnail. Yes, I'm petty for the thumbnail, and I don't feel bad about it. Okay. Let's just get that out the way. All right. Please make sure you share this video, however it is that you share videos. It is definitely going to be a key. It's going to be insightful. I might have some opinions that you agree with, and I might not. You know, MoNique is one of those people that when she speaks, oftentimes the GP, the general public, is oftentimes so divided. You'll have some people that still consider and find her to be problematic. And you have some people that feel like she speaks truth to power, no matter how uncomfortable it makes her, and no matter how faulty your perception of her may become. Whatever your opinion of her is, just want you to stay and listen to some thoughts. And even if you disagree, leave some comments down below. And I might even open the phone lines, depending on how quick I move through these notes that I took. I took a lot of notes today on this, and I couldn't wait to see it. All right. I couldn't wait to see it. Listen, quick housekeeping. Y'all know my birthday was yesterday. And listen, y'all really showered me with so much love, so much support. Shout out to everybody that sent the Cash App. If you still want to send a Cash App, you're more than welcome. Okay. But you don't have to send a Cash App or any form of monetary support in order to support me or wish me a happy birthday. Just hit the damn like button. You're on my bus. Pay your fare. Okay. You know how this goes. MoNique gave it to him. She gave it to him, and she didn't hold anything back. I was asking you all in my last live stream. I was asking you all if y'all thought that we were going to get anything new from this interview. A lot of times when MoNique goes live, okay, or when she speaks or does an interview and speaks out, oftentimes we can kind of predict a great amount of what she's going to say, because there's just some people she's not going to let up off of. She's just not. And so I asked if we were going to get anything new, and overwhelmingly the majority, people voted in the chat and said, no, I don't think we're going to get anything new. I think she's going to be talking about the same old, the usual suspects. Oprah, Lee Daniels, even though they've made up, Will Packer, Tyler Perry, Lionsgate, Netflix. The list goes on and on and on. And while we did get some of her retelling some of those stories. We got a couple of new details within those stories surrounding the usual suspects, but we also got some new information too. And I'm really anxious to get into that with you all. So come on in. If you work in a night shift, we are here. Somebody said thumbnail is accurate. Okay. And is. I'm so happy to have y'all. We were backstage earlier. It is so late. My preference isn't to go late, live this late. But we had some backstage stuff that we were doing, and then I edited a video. As soon as we finished that, I uploaded that before this video about Doja Cat. It's a really quick video, and there was something else that we did backstage as well. So the membership is definitely popping. Shout out to all the channel members. Shout out to Taylor Bradley for joining the membership. Shout outs to you, and shout out to Bossy Unbothered for being a member for 16 months. Okay. The Stickies, the Pancake Posse, we are always going to come through. Let's get into it, because I do think that this is a conversation that needs to be amplified, no matter how many times we've heard MoNique be repetitious in a way about her woes and her experiences within Hollywood. I do think that this is a conversation that needs to be amplified, not only for people who are marginalized, Black people, especially Black women who work in the entertainment industry, but also for all Black women in large. I think that it's a very important conversation that needs to be had. So really quickly, just to give you an overview of some of the things that we'll be discussing and some of the thoughts that I'll be connecting, is we all know that MoNique took some shots at Tiffany Haddish. And I was watching this live at noon Eastern Standard Time over on the East Coast. Shout out to Baltimore. Of course, shout out to Baltimore. You know our girl Mo. Shout out to Baltimore. And she took shots at Tiffany Haddish. Rightfully so. We'll get into that. She also took shots at Sharpton, Kevin Hart, Stephanie Mills, DL Hughley. Obviously the usual suspects. She went, I learned a few more things about her upbringing in Baltimore, although I'm familiar because I truly do listen to everything MoNique says. She also went into why, well, she was asked directly by Shannon Sharpe over on Club Shay Shay, why is it that Taraji delivering the same message and truth about the pay gap, the pay differences, the treatment, the difference in treatment being a Black woman in Hollywood? Why did the general public receive Taraji so well? And when MoNique was trying to give that same message years ago and year after year, to be quite honest, why were they received differently by the general public? So I definitely want to get into that as well. Also, her relationship with her formerly estranged son. MoNique does have a son who she was estranged from, and we'll get into that. And also why MoNique refuses to do another Queens of Comedy. You know, we had the Kings of Comedy with the late Bernie Mac, one of the best to ever do it, comedy-wise. DL Hughley. Also, who else was it? Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. So, and then we had the Queens of Comedy, of which MoNique was a part of as well. And there's so much more that we need to get into, baby. It's not even funny. So it is 1 o'clock in the morning over here in Baltimore on the East Coast. But we're still going to get into this. It's just 10 o'clock at night over there in LA. So there are still some people woke. And if you're waking up and seeing this tomorrow, you definitely have something great to listen to as you get your day started and go on throughout the day. Okay. So thank you for your support. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for sharing this video with someone. And shout out to everybody in the live chat. Let us get ready for takeoff real quick. I hope y'all are feeling all right. And if not, your mental health is more important than anything that these celebrities are talking about. More important than you dibbling and dabbling into whatever's going on in the world. Click off of this video if your invisible problems are not tended to. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Okay, I know I'm supposed to be all trying to get y'all in here and getting y'all to stay. But I really do give a damn about the people who consume my content. And mental health is very important. So do what y'all need to do. Shout out to my new subscribers. I just want to say thank you. And of course, before I get into breaking down today's topics of our events, I'm always going to remind you to subscribe. But don't forget to think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. Okay. So shout out to people joining the membership. And there's somebody who gifted a membership. Shout out to y'all. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Y'all are on my bus. So I think that before I even get into my thoughts and giving you a synopsis in order, I think that there is an overarching theme here that a lot of people are missing. I saw this taking place in real time on Twitter. This was a 3-hour interview, okay? Literally like 2 hours and 47 minutes. It was long, but that's how Club Shay Shay does. That's how Shannon Sharpe does it, right? We saw this with the Cat Williams thing, same difference. He's going to get his money regardless. But it was a very good watch. And I saw people on Twitter, you know, already, oh, Mo, you need to let it go. Oh, Mo, you need to shut up. Oh, I'm so tired of hearing her talk about it. And I think a lot of people are writing MoNique off, okay? Are writing MoNique off and discounting what she is saying without truly listening to the full context of it. Because a lot of people made assumptions about what she said in that interview or what she harped on. And she really elaborated on other things outside of money. And I think the reason why a lot of people are writing MoNique off and discounting what she is saying is because it's very simple to me. I think that people, and even Black women, but I did see a lot of Black men telling her to shut the hell up and stop talking about it and to get over it. People do not like seeing Black women stand up for themselves and speak out against people or things that have done them wrong, especially when there are no tears to accompany that or perceived victimhood present. MoNique has never called herself a victim. Now, technically speaking, she might have been the victim of unfair pay and, unfair treatment and discrimination, but she never portrays herself as a victim. She always portrays herself as a truth teller and a victor. And she never comes on and cries while telling you about it. And sometimes people don't like that. They want tears. This is why when people go live and they complain about things, a lot of times you will see people fake crying because they understand that the general public, and you will see the general public not give a damn unless you're crying. One thing about Taraji, and I don't believe that Taraji's emotions or tears were fake in any capacity. It was clear that Taraji was hurt. But the fact that tears were present, and my opinion is the fact that Taraji is more likable for whatever reason, I think that people received it in a different way. They were more open to it. But MoNique will always stand up with her shoulders straight, her back straight, her head up, and tell you what it is. And an assertive Black woman that's willing to speak out against and about a patriarchy and a continuous system and cycle that is doing them wrong, that has dealt with and experienced mistreatment, people have a problem with that. Not only white people, but even Black people too, because we've been conditioned that way. I think that that's sad, but may I add that MoNique's delivery, one thing that I found to be extremely refreshing about this interview and watching MoNique's journey over time, because let's be honest. Oftentimes when MoNique has spoken out in the past, her delivery, it's not that her message was wrong, because she was definitely speaking the truth, but her delivery was rough around the edges. She's not a passive woman. She's in between assertive and aggressive, depending on what you're getting from her that day, based on whatever she's received from you. She's a Baltimore gal, okay? She's from Baltimore. That's how we are, to be quite frank. But may I add that MoNique's delivery has done nothing but gotten better and better ever since she started speaking out, and I respect that. The message hasn't changed. The messaging and the stories about her experiences that she shared has stayed and remained consistent. But her delivery, you can tell that she's actually been healing. She spoke about therapy. She spoke about seeing a psychiatrist. She spoke about being mentally ill because she was so hurt based off of all that she endured in her personal life, with her family, with Hollywood, being let down by her heroes. And she spoke directly to that. And you can hear the healing in the way that she speaks and presents her stories. But she still won't keep it a buck and hold you accountable. That's just the bottom line. And I applaud her for that. I really do. I really, really do. So let's go ahead. It didn't bother her until after COVID. Interesting perspective. Let's get right into the Tiffany Haddish debacle. I know a lot of people are here and they want to hear that. Oh Yes, I actually have the article that is mentioned. Yes, I do. So I'm going to read what MoNique said, because let me tell you something. One thing about Shannon Sharpe, he does not play people. He will strike you in a heartbeat if you play his stuff. So I won't be playing not their clip, but I will give you a damn good summary and my thoughts and opinions. I implore you to share yours as well. So MoNique goes on to share that Tiffany Haddish did an interview with GQ, she says, and somehow the conversation turned to MoNique. Somehow Tiffany Haddish threw MoNique under the bus unprovoked. That's what MoNique said today. And she says that Tiffany said, I don't do business like MoNique, and I'm glad I don't have that husband of hers. And baby, when I tell you, MoNique said, well, if you had a husband like mine, you might not have 2 DUIs, and you might not be caught up in a situation that looks like you're grooming children. I said, baby, woo! She dropped a bomb on me, baby. I said, I can't believe she said that. But you know what? Why not? Why not? I mean, because at the end of the day, pretty much all of what MoNique said, it wasn't random daggers at random people. This is in the world of comedy and comedians and how the business works. Comedians are already skilled orators, whether you like them or not, right? And art is subjective. So the way comedians get back at one another, we saw it with Cat Williams, right? When comedians need to get back at somebody, especially somebody in their field trying to shade them, MoNique has been doing this far longer than Tiffany Haddish is. And Tiffany Haddish is clearly and has terrible decision-making skills, is in the midst of some sort of midlife crisis between shaving her head repeatedly, the DUIs, something's going on. The way she was yelling at Shakira that time at award shows, showing up to the red carpets with chicken, just looking like a tap dancer. You know, Tiffany Haddish has a plethora of problems, a heap, a slew, if you will. She has no room to come at a damn MoNique. She has no clue and no room. So I do appreciate, and I think that it's really ironic and a slam dunk that MoNique was able to not only tell the truth about Tiffany Haddish, but get her lick back. Hello? Because the thing about it is, listen, a lot of us think what we think about MoNique's marriage. And I think the main thing that we find cringy is the daddy thing. That's it. In public. A lot of people find that to be cringy. I get that. I'm not completely lost on the general public. But outside of that, he's her biggest advocate and her biggest supporter. And you can tell she's really experiencing true, genuine love, despite the fact that she's not doing it the same way we would do it in our homes. MoNique basically said, baby, you ain't got no damn husband. So what are you talking about? You know, it's no secret. You have to wonder why Tyler Perry, being the grimy cross-dresser that he is, using Medea as a crutch repeatedly, using the trauma of Black women without telling our stories with tact and decency and accepting our feedback, is not willing to speak to MoNique with her manager, who just so happens to be her husband, present, because he won't be able to get away with slighting MoNique with her husband present. He needs to speak to her alone. So now we get to this recording that a lot of us have heard about at this point, right? All of us have heard about the recording and MoNique recording the conversation that she had with Tyler Perry regarding him blackballing her, starting a rumor about her, admitting that he started a rumor about her being difficult to work with when she wasn't. Have you ever realized in your regular life, people, to everybody under the sound of my voice, have you ever realized when somebody has been mistreating you or getting over on you in one way, shape, or another? And as soon as you set a boundary and say, I'm not going to tolerate this no more, this doesn't fly with me, all of a sudden they tell you you're acting funny or you're difficult to be around or to deal with, because now you're drawing the line in the sand. You've dealt with too much. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you've dealt with it. Put a 2 in the chat if you have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. A lot of times when people lose their narcissist, look this up, Narcissism 101, when a narcissist or a controlling person loses their ability to control you, the first thing that they tell you as you're setting boundaries and putting an end to them taking advantage of you, the first thing they say is you're being difficult because you're demanding more, you're demanding better. You're not accepting less anymore. And you're demanding that they treat you better. Otherwise, we can cut ties and we ain't got to do this at all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So we get to this phone call that MoNique brings up that she recorded of Tyler Perry admitting that he did her wrong. He betrayed her. You know, he essentially took money out of her pocket by initiating and contributing to the blackballing of MoNique by making up lies and rumors about her. He admits this on the phone call. And I saw a lot of people were astounded. You know, a lot of people just found this out today because she let Shannon Sharpe listen to it, and Shannon Sharpe acknowledged that he heard Tyler Perry say these things. I have to remind you all that back in 2022, as a matter of fact, it was around the same time of year in 2022. So almost 2 years ago, on February 16th, there was an interview that was released with T.S. Madison that MoNique did. T.S. Madison was the first person to speak up and to say, I heard Tyler Perry say that stuff about you. Yes, I did. Because one thing MoNique is going to do, she's going to let you see and hear the receipts. And she's going to say, did you hear Tyler Perry say that? Look at your camera and say that you heard him say that. She's going to challenge you. She's not an easy person to interview because she's going to make you uncomfortable. Shannon Sharpe was uncomfortable saying some of the things that MoNique was challenging him to just admit that he heard. So it's really interesting how the goalpost is moved because a lot of people initially said that MoNique was lying about that. She wasn't telling the truth. She is difficult to work with. And then she produces a recording and people move the goalpost and say, oh, why are you recording him? That's wrong. Like, no. I have, you said I was lying about the wrongdoing. Here's the wrongdoing. Now it's back on me because you're saying I'm wrong for recording him. I don't think so. This was legal in my state where I was at that time. It was legal. I'm really surprised she hasn't released it, but she's let enough people listen to it. I've heard enough people, and T.S. Madison was the first person, the first interview that MoNique did when T.S. said, I heard that. So it doesn't surprise me that Shannon acknowledged that he heard Tyler Perry admit a whole bunch of fault and saying that he was going to apologize, but he never publicly did so. All right. So that's that. Oprah came up, of course, and you know Tyler Perry's always going to come up. Oprah, she's never going to ultimately stop talking about these things and these people and these experiences because her goal is that they be held accountable. Or that they say something, otherwise she's not going to stop talking. So the thing was, is Oprah listening? Is she watching? Hell yeah. And if not, she's getting the cliff notes from her people. But to be quite honest, Oprah doesn't care. Oprah doesn't care because she knows she's good and people won't heed MoNique's warnings until it's them. Until it's them. MoNique claims that 10 years ago, she was with Taraji P. Henson in a dressing room. And she told Taraji P. Henson about how unfair, how unfair Hollywood is in several different ways. And Taraji allegedly told her, oh, just be happy you're here. Just be happy you've gotten the opportunity. And she said, I understood that because I've been there before. I had that mentality when I was doing the Parkers and we had a sitcom and we were trying to reach syndication. I've been just excited to get an invite and to be here without demanding what I'm actually worth, without allowing them to shortchange me. I've been naive and brand new to Hollywood too. So she didn't fault Taraji for that, but it's interesting how when she was trying to tell Taraji about this a decade ago per MoNique, Taraji kind of brushed it off and said, listen, just be happy for that opportunity. 10 years later, when Taraji is fed up with the same mistreatment that MoNique was talking about, here we have Taraji, a tearful Taraji, speaking up multiple times about how she was treated on the set of Oprah, how she wasn't prioritized, how she wasn't cared for, despite being handpicked by an Oprah. There should have been no reason that they had to ask for food, transportation, or separate fitting rooms. There's no excuse for that. And I'm going to stand on that hill. It can be difficult to hold our heroes accountable. It can be difficult. We don't have a lot of Black millionaires or billionaires. So when somebody tries to hold a millionaire or a billionaire accountable, you'll catch. So, and I saw this in the comments on one of the blogs, because I commented and you had so many Black people under there. Oh, y'all just want to tear somebody down. Y'all can't stand and see nobody good. No, Oprah does evil shit. She's been doing evil shit. And so does Tyler Perry. It's very rare you find an ethical millionaire or billionaire, because they have to exploit labor in order to get there and cut corners. And people are afraid to standing up to them because they're afraid of what will happen. We all seen what happened with MoNique, right? So it took her all of 5 minutes to get into to Oprah. I will say that. We weren't even 5 minutes into the interview, and here came Oprah. I said, damn, she couldn't even wait. But you know, that's neither here nor there. So I do appreciate MoNique constantly pointing out what's wrong with Hollywood, what is wrong with Black people accepting less and accepting trinkets, or just being happy being invited, instead of really demanding to be compensated and treated fairly and properly. I appreciate her pointing out that that is her experience, and not to judge, you know, other people until the other people speak up and they have firsthand experience. So that's that. And this is exactly the point. You know, I'm truly appreciative for MoNique not allowing us to forget that we deserve more and that we shouldn't accept less, especially not from our own damn people. It makes no sense. And here's my thing to the people who say MoNique needs to shut the hell up. Okay, you went through it. Boo-hoo, rah-rah. She is advocating for fair treatment and fair pay, not only for Black women in the entertainment industry, but Black women all around. You can be at your job and your predominantly white workspace, your white colleagues, your non-Black colleagues, and still be facing something very similar, although you're not an actress, although you're not a comedian. And here's what I'll say to the people that want MoNique to shut the hell up. When it comes to somebody speaking about their very specific experiences, and MoNique has plenty of them. If that's the case, we should just shut the fuck up about racism and not being treated right, right? Do you think that when Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or whoever gave their first speech and laid down what they had been through and how they had been mistreated, they gave their first speech and just shut the hell up and said, okay, I hope people heard it. I won't say it no more because I've been through it and I need to get over it, right? It's a problem that continues to persist. It is a cycle that truly isn't going anywhere anytime soon until we truly dismantle this patriarchy, this dangerous patriarchy, and refuse to accept less than we deserve as a unit. And you know how difficult it is to get a lot of Black people unified? Think about this. Think about this. Imagine if Martin and Malcolm gave their 1, 2, maybe even 3 speeches and sat the hell down, so that do you think they weren't repeating the same talking points throughout all the years in the civil rights movement? They were advocating for fair pay and fair treatment because we are constantly discriminated against. Do y'all think the mistreatment in Hollywood is new? Do you think it's going to stop next year or in the next 5? Think about that. Think about how many different times they had to tell that message and how many different ways they had to tell that message in order to get the point across. I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King's very first public speech wasn't his best because he was new at it. He continued to sharpen his craft and his skill as an orator, as a public speaker, as did Malcolm, and find different ways to deliver the same point to continue to wake people up and spark the brains of people who don't even realize that they're being mistreated, or they're willing to accept mistreatment for money or an invite to a goddamn elite party. So how dare you tell somebody who is standing up for the better treatment and the better pay of us and telling us the mistakes that she made so that we can learn from them, as she is truly looking out for any other Black person that comes behind her to ensure that the bar is not continually lowered for what we shall accept. Because the less that any Black person working and accepting funds in any realm, in any landscape, the more we accept less, the less the person behind us is going to get. So if your job is really an $80,000 a year job, and the white person is getting $80,000 a year, but the person that occupied your position last year accepted $55,000, what do you think they're going to offer you? You have to demand more, and you have to stand up and be unapologetic about that. You have to. You have to. I don't think people are truly seeing the bigger picture, and I think people are getting more caught up on the messenger and the messenger's journey and really not listening to the message because they're caught up on a stigma based on the past that originated with lies and that really originated in a room that you weren't even in when it comes to MoNique being quote unquote problematic. You refuse to hear anything she says, but when Taraji says it, y'all eat it up. Eat it up. What's really going on? Hello? Are we awake? Are y'all on the phone? Are y'all listening? If y'all truly want Black people who are speaking up about fair treatment and making sure we get paid what we worth to shut the hell up, I truly unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Listen, unsubscribe because you're missing the bigger picture. See, I was about to throw an insult in there, but instead I'd rather just invite you to unsubscribe to my channel, from my channel. Because you're not getting it. What aren't you getting? And the thing about it is you ought to be happy that somebody has been in the game and has seen things over the course of years. She is a grandmother, although a lot of us refer to her as auntie. She is someone's grandmother. You ought to be happy that there is an older person willing to speak out so boldly about how fucked up we're treated. Because a lot of times when you're brand new on the scene, brand new in a certain workplace or on the workforce at all, you're not bold and brave enough, nor do you have the verbiage or the courage to speak up about things like this. Things like this should be bouncing around your head at night so that you can figure out how to go in tomorrow and ask your boss, you know what, I've been here for 3 years and I haven't gotten a raise. Here's my track record and I think I deserve this. Because I've seen that this person over here got a raise in 1 year. It's been 3 years for me. I think that it's time that you all reconsider paying me what I'm worth. I've put in time, blood, sweat, and tears to this place. So she is an example of how we can advocate for ourselves to not accept less. And if you can't see that, Stevie Wonder, baby, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. And especially from our own people. You know, when our parents used to say, I'm disappointed in you. I expect more of you. I expect better of you. From our own people, things like this. I expect this from white people, even though I'm going to get them together regardless. But from my own people who are loaded with cash, with just endless resources anyway, I should just be quiet because they are the powers that be. Baby, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. So, 5 minutes in, MoNique said, she brought up Oprah, but what I also got from it is don't tell MoNique your secrets. Because she said, listen, I'm going to tell it. She says she's a truth teller. And first of all, can you put a 7 in the chat if you've seen the interview? Put a 7 in the chat if you've seen the interview. Okay. I'm like, are you a truth teller or a snitch? Either way, you know, because you know how people, I'm going to tell it. You tell me a secret and I feel like you did somebody wrong, I'm going to go tell them. And she told the story about how she was in the 10th or 12th grade and one of her peers, one of her friends came up to her and said that the child's father was this person when she was saying it was this person. And she went and told the guy, hey, that's not your baby. It's somebody else's baby. And they all wanted to fight her. And I'm like, damn, that was your friend though. Like, really? I'm like, I wrote down, don't tell MoNique your secrets. I literally wrote that down. But that's just a key. And so MoNique has always been accustomed to a lot of doubt. And she got into the Lee Daniels thing and how the Lee Daniels situation was actually resolved or really initiated by T.S. Madison. Circling back to the recording that T.S. Madison is the first person to speak out and say, I heard this. T.S. Madison said, I'm friends with Lee Daniels. And MoNique said, well, if you're friends with him, then this was on a break, not during the interview, because I watched that whole interview. Despite my personal feelings for T.S. Madison. Well, if you're friends with Lee Daniels, then you need to call him and tell him to make this shit right. T.S. Madison did, and days later, Lee Daniels was calling her phone, apologizing to not only MoNique, but her children and her family. Because what had happened, because Oprah and Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry and Will Packer, they all band together to blackball her collectively, it took money out of her pocket. She took a hit. She used to make several $1 million a year, and she sat without work for a long time. They took a hit, and her family suffered for that, but she sat in it. She sat in that. She didn't turn around trying to kiss ass to get back in. She sat and she endured that because she knew she was on the right side of the truth. I find that to be quite admirable. I really do. So apologize to the kids privately, but Lee Daniels also apologized to MoNique publicly as well. And they're friends again. If you don't know, Lee Daniels was the one who is responsible for the movie The Reading that MoNique did not too long ago. Basically like a psychological thriller, I would define it as. I thought it was pretty good. Not Oscar worthy, but I thought it was pretty good. Okay, now we get into why she won't do Queens of Comedy anymore. Why she refuses to do Queens of Comedy anymore. She told this story about how they went on tour. Both the Kings and Queens of Comedy went on tour together. All four of the Kings of Comedy, DL, Bernie, Cedric, Steve Harvey, they all got separate limos. They each got an individual limo. When it came to the Queens of Comedy, all four of them, they tried to put all four of them in one limo. And MoNique said, oh no, we're not doing this. This was a joint tour. This was the Kings and the Queens. So the same way you treated them brothers like loyalty, you're going to treat us with the same respect. We need separate limos too. I said, okay. Also, she claimed all four of the Kings of Comedy were given a Rolex in addition to what they were paid, you know, as a gift, token of appreciation, thank you, whatever you want to, however you want to consider or categorize that, right? She claims the Queens never got any such thing, and they were on tour together. And there was also a time when she was told she was going to be paid a certain amount of money. This is what she was contractually obligated to receive, and they tried to give her a partial payment. And she had to speak up about that as well. So, you know, if you begin entering Hollywood or any arena and they see that they can start shortchanging you in little small ways here, there, or everywhere, it will increasingly become the norm. So you do have to speak up as soon as you see the first breadcrumb not being given to you off of your whole piece of bread or your whole loaf, because it will easily become a pattern. And you know how difficult it is to stop somebody from engaging in a pattern of mistreatment? Because they're going to be looking at you like, we've been doing it like this for how long? How long have I been treating you this way? You're talking about mistreatment. How long have I been treating you this way? What are you talking about? We've been doing it for this way for so long. What's the problem now? So sometimes you got to stop people when you see the first red flag or the first misstep and put your damn foot down. Like Kuta Kente. Hello? Put your foot down. Listen, if you haven't taken a second to hit thumbs up on this video, please make sure you do so. I really enjoyed this interview, and I truly enjoyed taking these notes and thinking about the bigger picture outside of just MoNique saying what she said and some stuff being repetitious. I really took some time to think about that and why people are so against her and drawing the bigger picture for you all. So make sure you hit that thumbs up and support the channel any way you can, okay? If you want to drop something in the Cash App, listen, feel free, baby. Here go the barcode. $THA. I'm the birthday girl. My birthday was just yesterday. You know, throw a little something. It can be $2, $5, whatever you got. Okay, I'm still accepting my birthday and appreciation donations. So let's get on with my additional notes. Okay. One thing that I really enjoyed that she spoke about family-wise and her upbringing was if she speaks to her family in any capacity at all. And her answer, long story short, was no. It was no. And MoNique brought something up to Shannon Sharpe. Apparently they had a conversation behind closed doors, or Shannon Sharpe said one time to somebody, why would you stay somewhere where you're miserable? And MoNique said that applies to family too. We've been taught that trauma is okay and to smile and perform on Thanksgiving and pretend that this person didn't just hurt my feelings, abuse me, cause some sort of discomfort or disrespect me. And family or not, I'm not staying anywhere where I'm miserable or I feel like I'm being mistreated or not respected. Period, point blank. And especially when the family member is not willing to take accountability for what they've done or what they've said. That part, baby, when I tell you, I felt like, is she speaking to me? I felt like she was in the room with me, and I felt like MoNique knew my life at that moment. Okay? I felt like she knew my life in that moment. I feel like that's the point that really needs to, I even said that in my last video pertaining to Doja Cat, her mother and her brother, and the abuse that they endure. I don't care who you are. When I need to draw a boundary to make sure that I'm okay, and if I need to remove myself from communicating with you in order to be at peace or in order to be in a safe place, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, I'm going to do that, whether you're my family or not. Because truth be told, people who are not blood will treat you better than your family will at times. And you have to be able to decipher that. You should not be staying loyal to blood just because, oh, you only get one. Oh, you only get one this. Oh, that's your family. No, I'm not obligated to accept disrespect just because we might have some similarities in DNA. I will be damned. And I love that she said that. And she stands on that. And she said, I don't wish him no harm. I love him from a distance. But I have boundaries. Okay. Can you relate? Can you relate? Okay. So, also another reason that MoNique stated that she felt like the general public was more accepting and welcoming of Taraji's cry out about the same issues that MoNique has been consistently calling out for years. In addition to Taraji crying and obviously, being emotional while she did it, MoNique's husband oftentimes is standing with her is one thing. Taraji P. Henson, she was like engaged or something, but there's no like male presence that is standing there with her as well. And that can irritate, annoy, or intimidate some people. But also, MoNique says names. She makes it very direct, and she says Hollywood doesn't like that. That's part of the game that Steve Harvey said that he wanted, that MoNique should play if she wants to get back in Hollywood's good graces. It's okay for you to say they mistreated me, or I didn't get paid over there from them, or here's this experience, and I won't name no names, but this. But when you name names, and especially when they're rich Black people, they kind of take scoff, like, oh, how dare you want to name me? Rich people who have endless access to money and power and can single-handedly make your life hell by omitting you from whatever it is. They have a certain unspoken expectation. And so do the people who take in opposing opinions from them. They have a certain expectation that you're not going to say that about me publicly, are you? Because you know what I'm capable of, right? You know what I could do to you with just one phone call, right? But MoNique is bold enough to actually lay it all out, okay? So that's that. Okay, let's get into her issues with Al Sharpton. All right, we're going to start with Al Sharpton and then Stephanie Mills. Kevin Hart, DL Hughley. Okay. Al Sharpton is another person who listened to the phone call, right? MoNique, got with him on the phone. They listened to the phone call, and Al Sharpton said, hearing Tyler Perry say, you know what, MoNique, you're right. I did violate you. I did make up that rumor, so on and so forth. Al Sharpton said, okay, you know what? You're right, MoNique. He violated you, and he needs to make this right. And he said he was going to make a phone call and help mediate. And next thing you know, she looked up and she saw him on television saying, we ain't got to fly commercial no more. We can fly Tyler Perry's private jet. Did you get an envelope, brother? Because now you're singing his praises, but you just heard how dirty he did me. Did he pay you all? What's happening? Why you want here doing the damn Tyler Perry commercial at this point? It's very much insinuate, well, it looks like to me, he got paid in one way or another. Trinkets, endless flights on Tyler Perry's jet whenever he wants, something, right? So she brought that up. Stephanie Mills, same situation, says she would call Tyler Perry. She comes back and says something to the effect of, okay, well, Tyler Perry said he's willing to make it right, but you got to apologize to him. And she was kind of like with that and not standing with her at that point. Like, okay, well, here's the deal. Here's what you got to do. Also, Kevin Hart, very similar situation. He listened to the phone call. And Kevin Hart said, okay, you know what? This is fucked up. I'm going to call Tyler Perry. And also she noted that when she was going through a rough patch, when she took a hit, when she was blackballed, Kevin Hart wrote her a check. So really helped her out when she was, out of work in Hollywood. But she said she paid that money back with interest on top of it so that nobody can say I gave you a handout. So she paid him back. So she's grateful for that. And she expressed that. Okay. And there was a time when Kevin Hart's manager had called her and said, listen, Kevin Hart, we don't want to have anything to do with you. We don't want to have anything to do with you, whatever the case is. And there was a discrepancy when Mo finally got on the phone with Kevin Hart. Like, why are you letting this person get in between our relationship? I thought we were cool. I thought we were like brothers and sisters. Why are you letting this happen? And he kind of gave some word salad, beat around the bush sort of answer. And that was really the last time she heard from him when initially he said he was going to help to make it right. So, she's felt let down by a lot of people. Okay. Someone says she's not a good judge of character. Can you tell me she's talking to too many people? She doesn't understand the spirit. She's not obviously a good judge of character, and she didn't realize who to stay away from or stop talking to. That's an interesting perspective. What Jay say? How is Bill or Al Sharpton supposed to help me? Yeah. I think not Al Sharpton. Not y'all talking about the perm. Lord have mercy. Don King with the perm. I think that there is a sense of who will listen to me when the whole world has shut me out. I think that that's kind of the sense of it was. I'm not sure if you've ever been in a difficult situation, but have you ever looked up and been talking to somebody that truly couldn't help you, but you needed an ear and you just needed someone to listen, and you realize halfway through or you might be almost done and you're like, this person can't help me worth the damn. But here I am talking to him. So, I don't know. These are just thoughts, but a lot of people weren't on her side at that time. So there's a lot of empty gestures as well. People coming up and meeting you, y'all in the same room. Hey, sister, good work. If you ever need anything, I'm here. Well, as a matter of fact, I do need something. I need you to listen to this. So it's not that they could have necessarily helped her. It's just exposing the lack of genuineness from some of these people. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Instead of me just wondering, could this person, that person help me? None of them can probably help me. Let me just, if you can't help me, then I'm going to be telling people about your character. Why were you saying if I ever need anything or somebody to talk to that you were here if you're not really here? So what do I have to lose? It's kind of like people are like, well, you might as well ask. What's the worst they can say? No. Ask, say no, be let down. They don't fulfill their promises or keep their word. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell people about it. So that's just, that's that. So, so let's see. Sharpton. Okay. So the DL Hughley thing came up. DL Hughley, boy, I tell you. The DL Hughley thing, I covered that a while back, and I totally understand her issues with DL Hughley. Every time she's brushed up against this man, he has been pretty nasty, unfair, and you can tell he's just used to treating people any old type of way, right? Including his wife, sigh baby, including his daughter, didn't believe that she was truly the victim of. So the whole thing, just to oversimplify, MoNique and DL Hughley were going on a comedy tour together, but contractually, MoNique was the headliner, right? MoNique was the headliner. And what happens when you're the headliner of a comedy show and there are other comedians with you? If you're the headliner, you go last. You are the last hoorah. They save the best for last. And that is especially true in the world of stand-up comedy. At least in person, because DL Hughley damn sure wasn't the best on Kings of Comedy, but he did go last. So they had this, back and forth because she was supposed to be the headliner. She provided her contract that showed that she was supposed to be the headliner. He showed his alleged documentation of this, him being the headliner instead. And it was just a memo. A memo is not a contract. A memo is like a draft. A memo is, here's what we thinking. Here's where we thinking we might go with this. And they went back and forth online and had a real nasty back and forth. I covered that. That's an oversimplification. Go search thePLAINESTjane, DL Hughley, MoNique when you get a chance, right? Or I'll try to link them down below in the description box when I get done, or pin it to the top of the comments. There was also another time, and he was pretty nasty about that, right? There was also another time because DL Hughley, he does radio, right? He has a radio show 5 days a week. And there was a time when he had MoNique on, and after they got finished with MoNique and DL's segment, he had to rush out, catch a flight, something. And she was left with the other castmates of DL Hughley's radio show. And they played a game. They asked MoNique if she wanted to play a game called Would You Rather. And they asked MoNique, would you rather your husband have sex with Lee Daniels or Spike Lee? One of the two. I think it was Lee Daniels. Would you rather your husband have sex with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens, a.k.a. Superhead, without a condom? Let that sink in for just a moment. What type of games we playing? And why did DL Hughley sign off on this? Why is his staff and his team thinking that this is cool? Would my husband rather have sex with another man, Lee Daniels with a condom, or Superhead Corinne Steffens without a condom? Y'all think that shit's funny? You sound like you're in the 6th grade, to be quite frank. I know 11th graders who would be above a question like that. MoNique says right away, she's like, what's this? Call DL, because this is not right. Right? This is his show. Calls DL and says, listen, they just asked me this. How is this uplifting our community? What is this doing for our community? It's some silly question like this. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate. And DL Hughley, to which DL Hughley responded, that's just how we do. So it's kind of like she's always had these unpleasant experiences with DL, and he's just kind of real shruggish and kind of like, and he doesn't care. So I really want to know how y'all feel about that, and if that question was sidestepping or she should have just been a good sport and played the game. Okay. Now we need to get into DL Hughley's response. Excuse me. Are y'all enjoying this video? This video is so packed of so much information, but shockingly, I'm moving through it pretty fast. So sorry if I'm talking too fast for some. But we finna talk about this. Okay. This is something that definitely needs to be spoken about. Okay. All right. So DL Hughley has responded already. Let's take a listen. It's definitely getting nasty. It's definitely sticky. I do expect a response from MoNique, and I can't wait to update y'all on that. Okay.
Is getting messier. Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So MoNique was on. Every time I see MoNique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes.
Woo! Woo! Now, why are we fat shaming and throwing cat and crunch jokes out here, baby? I hope MoNique get a good night's sleep. And I can't wait to see what she says to this low down dirty sucker here. This is a mess, not fat shaming. I wonder how much his wife weigh, how much his daughters weigh. If either one of them ever become the size of MoNique or larger. Child.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
We're going to watch this to the end, but I really want to know if you think that he's doing too much. Let's see what else he got to say. Lord have mercy. This is truly atrocious. It really is. For real.
On Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she says she got off. She called me. MoNique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, MoNique's a liar. When MoNique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't.
Oh, listen to this. Listen to this. MoNique says she got her lawyers involved and sent him a cease and desist, and that is why it didn't air. So not that if he was so dismissive, it would have aired. Now, are we going to see the cease and desist? Who knows? Who knows? But he's coming on with a lot of vitriol and a lot of jokes. See, she didn't tell no jokes about him. She really just stood on the truth. She didn't crack on his career or lack thereof. She didn't talk about how he looked. She didn't talk about his family. She didn't talk about his past. Okay.
Because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who as a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does. She has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video. And she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that because MoNique is a fucking liar.
Oh.
She's lying about that.
Oh.
But what you will find is MoNique talking shit about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says DL Hughley, then MoNique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was molested, and MoNique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. The lying motherfucker. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her.
She didn't say that you allowed her to be raped in front of you, but she did say that you didn't believe her when it happened. Now, personally, I do feel like she did weaponize his daughter's trauma. I have to agree with that small tidbit. I felt like she could have just stayed on task and spoke about him and his character without re-traumatizing or re-victimizing his child. But his summary is not accurate. The post is still up on MoNique's page right now. I read it. I covered that story very meticulously. She did not say that he allowed it to happen in front of her. But what DL Hughley did openly admit is that he did not believe his daughter when his daughter first came to him and told him that that is what was going on, because DL Hughley was fond of the gentleman that his daughter was accusing. And he was so sorry and emotionally and full of regret because he didn't believe his daughter for a certain period of time. So the way he's twisting and playing with these words is really nasty work. And I can call it out either way. The same way I just called out MoNique's side of it and how I felt like it wasn't right for her to reach for that as something to, you know, as a dagger towards DL, because it was involving his child and something that happened when the child was a minor. He's also twisting words here. And it makes me wonder, why aren't you staying on task and sticking to truth? Instead, you're telling jokes and rewriting history. Revisionist history is a bitch. And it really muddles the waters. And if you feel like you need to do that in order to win, something is just as dirty in the milk as MoNique said it was. But that's just me.
It's interesting. You know what else you won't see MoNique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody fucks with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't fuck with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real?
Oh, this man is upset and clearly doesn't follow her on social media. She does have one son that her oldest son is still resentful because she put her career above spending time with him. And she elaborated upon that. But as far as her other children, she spends hella time with them. Hella time with them. And her grandchildren. Oh, the first thing a man will do when you disagree with him is say, "You're lonely. Nobody loves you." So.
Except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay. And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see MoNique doing? Telling jokes. MoNique, if she just spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history, because that's what MoNique does.
Well, I have to be honest. It couldn't have been worse than Tiffany Haddish. Is it the best thing I've seen MoNique do? Her special on Netflix? No, because I've seen her in person and laughed harder. But it definitely wasn't the worst thing I've seen on Netflix. Absolutely not. Did y'all see Tiffany Haddish's Black Bar Mitzvah or something like that? It was horrible. It was horrible. Oh, Lord.
She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people, except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. There's a reason why everywhere she go, shit starts. Everywhere she goes. How is it that nobody fucks with you, not even your family? How do you, or I was on the road getting it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, MoNique, that you probably always will have to. Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set.
Was saying, now how I get in it? I'm busy trying to get ready for my damn documentary. What the hell is going on? Ooh. What are y'all thoughts? Was this a good comeback? Was this a good read? Did he go too far? Put a 4 in the chat if you think that this was a good comeback. Put a 5 in the chat if you really just not feeling this comeback. A 4 in the chat if you feeling DL's comeback. A 5 in the chat if you think it was not a good comeback. I'm going to have to give it a 4. Just because you're traveling more and you got more gigs doesn't mean that you have more money. It doesn't mean that you have better self-care practices. Oh, I gave it a 4. I'm sorry. I give it a 5. My bad. I don't like this. So just because you're busier than her, you know how they say work smart, not hard? Okay. Just because you're way more than her. I mean, at the end of the day, radio pays nothing. It doesn't pay a lot. If anything, DL Hughley keeps himself relevant by being on the radio. See, this is how radio works. As a person with radio background and as a person who started with radio, I can tell you exactly how it works. It doesn't pay a lot. So you might get sponsors or deals outside or surrounding the radio. And this gives you more visibility and maybe even likability for other opportunities outside of radio. If DL Hughley was not doing radio, everybody would forget who the hell he was. He can't stop doing radio and just do his stand-up on the road. He can't. So for comedians, former comedians, how many former comedians do you see really doing radio? You would never see a Cat Williams on radio. It's beneath him. It's beneath him. All you see are the two kings of comedy, Steve and Cedric. And Steve loved working like a slave, whatever. Steve could truly do without the radio. He could. I don't know what his reason for doing it is or whatever. Maybe he's playing a game and being underpaid, and that's another way to keep him relevant too. He tries to hit TV. He's doing Family Feud and he's doing the radio. He wants to make sure he works like a horse. Other people would rather work smart. So I don't know. That wasn't really quite a read. That wasn't quite a read to me. There have been times I've been busier than my other counterparts and they made more money than me because I was working hard and not working smart and not really valuing what self-care is and how that looks like, and over exhausting myself and not really having the energy to take care of myself, to take care of my loved ones, to take care of my friends, and just to have some peace and some time to relax. Sometimes working hard pays off. Other times there's somebody else who has simplified what you do and they're working a quarter or a third less than you are. So that wasn't a read, and he's too old to not know that. Oh, Ricky Smiley, Ricky Smiley, I really don't. Ricky Smiley has had times in his career where he's been a comedian, but I really don't see Ricky as a comedian, really. I truly do see Ricky Smiley as a radio personality. I do think that he uses the radio to consistently propel him to relevancy and to continue to get gigs in the acting world. But when's the last time he really been on tour doing stand-up? When's the last... Again, these are former comedians who have fell off. And that's no shade. That's just me being observant. So if MoNique really wanted to take it there, she could. But taking every opportunity that comes your way and staying busy 6 days a week and not having no time to yourself and to really sit down and breathe out and exhale with your family and having a day where your kid can just, or your wife can come up to you and say, honey, let's do this. No, I got to do this, that, and the third. That's not really valued more than somebody who was not as busy as you. And I get it, when you're hungry in the beginning of your career, you are going to hustle until you get to the point where you don't have to. But for somebody that's been in the game as long as DL, with that much salt and pepper going on, he shouldn't have to hustle like a new person trying to make their way into the industry. He shouldn't have to. And the fact that he is, as an old man who has been doing this for over 2 decades, had a sitcom, was on Kings of Comedy, this, that, and the third, it says a lot about the value and the quality and the pay that comes with whatever gigs he's accepting. He has to accept all of those things because he doesn't have a choice. So somebody said, drop the link. Okay, I'll drop the link. Let me read this caption. If y'all are looking to call in, please be ready. I'll drop the caption in a moment. Drop the caption. I'll drop the link in a moment. I want to keep the calls concise. I don't want to spend more than 10 minutes on any one phone call. So just keep that in mind. The reason lies and false narrative continue to go on and circulate is because they go unchecked. What you're not going to do is call me out my name and get checked. MoNique is a liar. She is constantly throwing a rock and hiding her hand. You don't get to tear people down and then soften the blow by calling them brother, sister, sweet baby. That's not love. Far from it. I'm sure Ike, is that Ike? I'm sure Ike thought he loved Tina too. Apologize. I will never forgive or forget the way you tried to manipulate my daughter's trauma to fit your sick narrative. I don't play when it comes to mine because I love my family for real. And they actually love me back. Hashtag Team DL. Well, not a hurt dog will bark. Let me see. Is the comments on her side? She chose violence. Yeah, sounds like she touched a nerve or two. Yeah, I haven't really heard him with that type of energy and I want to say in a very long time, but I also want to say ever. I want to say ever. Okay. Not Cat Williams, child. The Cat Williams memes are going to be eternity. The difference with Cat Williams, nobody called him a liar. Well, I ain't never in my wildest dreams thought of saying to a heavy person. Hold on. I ain't never in my wildest dreams thought of saying to a heavy person, every crunch you do must have Captain in front of it. Yeah, that was out of pocket. That was out of pocket. And MoNique is nowhere near as big as she used to be. Y'all remember what size she was when she was doing Comic View, when she was doing the Parkers? She truly had, there's nothing wrong with a plus size woman. But, here's the thing is a lot of people are fixated on weight rather than health and wellness. MoNique shares her journey of being a vegan, eating healthy, eating cleaner, her recipes, how she makes it. And MoNique looks damn good compared to other times throughout her career. She looks damn good. DL, I don't know. Is he a hurt dog hollering or not? Is he a hurt dog hollering or not? Okay. So let me go ahead and drop the phone line. I can't wait. I'm going to be reading these comments all night long. I'm not even going to hold you. I ain't stunning you. I'm going to be reading the comments as I lay in bed tonight under DL Hughley's video and refreshing MoNique's page. Y'all please send me messages on Instagram as soon as, or an email, right? My email is in all my description boxes. Y'all better DM me, tag me on Twitter, something so fast. If I'm not up, woke, or cognizant of the response, if you don't see a live from me yet, if and when MoNique responds, please blow my inbox up. I beg of you. I beg of you. Okay? Please do, because baby, we are going to follow this story like we are stalker. We're going to follow this story like we are a stalker. I used to be triggered by that word because I've had a stalker before in my life, but I'm over it now. I don't have an allegiance to losers. It's not like me. So, my thing is, okay, Cat Williams went on there and he put that cannon at everybody. He named everybody up under the sun, even people who weren't even in the realm of comedy. Is anybody going to tell Cat Williams when to stop talking about that? If y'all see Cat Williams telling some of these same stories over and over again in different places throughout the years, is somebody going to tell him when to stop? Or when his frequency has become too much? I just want to know. I just want to know. So I dropped the phone line. Baby, let me tell you something. Y'all better click this phone line within 2 minutes or we are moving on, baby. It is late. It is 2 o'clock in the morning. So if y'all don't click this phone line, I told y'all I was about to drop it. We're going to be up out of here because I don't have so many more notes left, even though I took a lot of notes. And I still have YouTube work to do and editing of another video to do when I end this live. Child. The shots were fired. The tea was spilled in this interview, baby. Okay? The tea was spilled. So I'm going to just continue with my notes in case nobody calls in or because it's taking y'all a while to call in. As I've seen a couple of people ask for the link. What somebody say? My socials are listed down below for anybody wondering what my socials are. But it's the same as my name on here. Okay, so let me get into the rest of my notes. So essentially how I feel about it is this. I think that what MoNique does is it's dangerous in some capacity or another. Because you don't know what the public perception is going to be. You don't know if you are going to be canceled or blackballed. You don't know if people are going to write you off and this affects your livelihood moving forward. But when you're truly an advocate for your people, you have to think less about the consequence and more about the bigger picture and what you're truly trying to gain for your community in its entirety. Think about all the times Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were arrested for rightfully advocating for reducing or eliminating the mistreatment of Black people. Were they afraid to go to jail or sit in jail or be roughed up? They were willing to take that because it was worth it to fight for something instead of falling for anything. So I do think that what MoNique is doing and what she has consistently done, despite, her, and I say, again, I just want to reiterate, her delivery over the years has gotten so impressive to the point where you really can't even say this is coming from a place of bitterness. Because before you could hear a little hurt in her voice, and that can be interpreted as bitterness because she wasn't refining the way she was saying it. She let out the truth. We've all heard the fear of speech. Truth hurts. We've all heard that. It doesn't mean that you have to deliver it in a hurtful way every time. And we can see this is a lesson that Mo has learned and a place that she has grown. But it inspires our community to speak out, not to just be happy to be invited to the party and to not accept less, especially when it comes to Hollywood, the glitz, the glamour. People want to be in Hollywood. They want the glitz, the glamour, the popularity. They want the acceptance. They want the trinkets in exchange for what will eventually become less and less, not only for you, but for those who come after you. And again, my point here is MoNique and the people who were very instrumental and vocal during the civil rights movement were fighting for the fair treatment and the fair payment of us. And it's a cycle that had racism, a cycle that was happening then that continues to happen now. Blacks have always been mistreated in Hollywood. We had to fight to get there. And the cycle of being mistreated and underpaid. We've heard Viola Davis. We've heard Taraji. We've heard MoNique. We've heard person after person after person speak up about being mistreated. This is a cycle. In order to get it to stop, silence ain't going to help. Biting your tongue is not going to help dismantle this system that continues to oppress us, whether you're in Hollywood or in your everyday life. So this is a cycle that's been happening since the beginning of time. It continues to persist. Why shouldn't we speak up about current issues? This low-key reminds me of that issue. I don't know if y'all follow the influencers and TikTok, the makeup and beauty girls, but Tarte is one of those companies. And Tarte invited a whole bunch of girls out, predominantly Black girls out, to an event, and treated some better than others. And one of the Black girls actually spoke up about it. And then another did. And then you had other Black girls who were like, oh no, we're just happy to be here. Tarte didn't do that. And there was clear mistreatment going on with the hotel room. This person gets a whole hotel room and gifts, and I get this. We're all influencers. We were all invited here. Why am I being treated different? And so some of the Black girls who have 1 million followers or a larger following on Instagram call themselves taking Tarte's back, right? Having Tarte's back and lying about what they had or had not, what they witnessed other Black girls go through. And social media dragged them to hell. I mean, dragged them to hell, because how dare you cap for this white company? This Black girl knows what she saw. She knew what she experienced, and she had receipts to back it up. There's always going to be a nigga that's willing to accept less, and that's willing to coon and willing to tap dance when you're trying to stand up for what's right. And they gaslit that girl so bad. And then they circled back around. Speaking of which, let me get into this article, because Tiffany Haddish is one of them tap dancing niggas I'm talking about. Let me control F. You're not gonna let me control F over here. All right, let's find it manually. Okay, so let me make this bigger on the screen so y'all can see. This is exactly what Tiffany was saying, and this is exactly what MoNique spoke about today. Tiffany Haddish said, my business runs different than her business. I don't live her life. I don't have that husband of hers. I'm looking at how Netflix has opened up so many opportunities for Black families in comedy where my people are dying. That's when you're going to catch me protesting. I'm not going to protest because somebody got offered not the amount of money that they wanted to get offered. If you don't like what they're offering, don't do business. So, Tiffany girl, my question to you is, when have you ever protested? Let's start there. Because one thing that you said right here is, when my people are dying, then I'll protest. Stickies, everybody listening under the sound of my voice. When have Black people never been dying? I'm sorry, when do we stop dying? When do we stop having to endure police brutality or being shot down in the middle of the streets? I'm trying to figure out when the Klan or when the cops stop killing us. So you talking about when my people are dying, I'll start marching, but you ain't never been marching and your people been dying. What's really going on? I'm confusion. And so are you. So are you. What is wrong with her? Talking about that husband. And that's why MoNique hit you with, maybe if you had a husband, you wouldn't have 2 DUIs and appear to be a groomer of children. I said, hello. Hello. So, in closing, because I'm wrapping up, one person came back here to call in, and they was back here for all of 8 seconds, and then they dropped down. Okay, baby. Maybe when everybody's up, we'll have an open panel about it tomorrow. I don't know. I do plan on going live tomorrow. But we'll see if we'll have an open panel about this or not. This is the last time I'm gonna drop the link. What are y'all's thoughts? What are your final thoughts and conclusions? What are your unanswered questions? My main question to you is that I have in the title here is, do you think it's time for MoNique to hush now? I just dropped the link to call in. It's right there. I think, what is that? Teremy Jackson. What's the number? It's a link that you hit. As long as you have an internet connection, you'll be able to get in and click that link. What are your final thoughts? Is it time for MoNique to shut up? Put an 88 in the chat if it's time for MoNique to shut up, and put a 00 if it's time for her to keep talking. If no, she shouldn't shut up. 88 if it's time for her to shut up. A 00 if no, keep talking. 88 if she should shut up, and a 00 if she should keep talking. What are you thinking? Okay. What are you thinking? Okay. Seeing lots of zeros. 0, 0, 0. I'm not seeing any 88s yet, but I did see some people that were on the polar opposite of my way of thinking earlier in the live, but I had to keep going with my notes so I didn't get distracted and I stayed on point. So I guess all the 88s are gone, maybe. We don't know. We don't know. But I am open to dialogue. All right, so we've got a caller. I'm about to bring Studio City up on the screen. All right, you all welcome our guest, whether we agree or disagree. We're going to have this dialogue. Why? Because it is important for the Black community to speak about Black issues and be able to engage in conversations, even when they have opposing viewpoints, right? Right. That is something we definitely need to get better at, in my humble opinion. All right, let's welcome our guest and move on with the show. The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. Hey, Studio City, how are you today?
Hey.
What's going on? What are your thoughts on this subject?
First of all, this is Teremy. I'm not, my bad, because like I was too busy in the chats talking to my girl over there, talking about little things. So refresh me what we were talking about.
Refresh you on what we were talking about. The title of the video is here. And we were talking about MoNique and if you think she should shut up or if she should continue to speak about her experiences and the wrongdoings that not only her, but every other Black person is subject to.
First and foremost, my auntie should never shut up because she was speaking what Taraji has been saying for the last couple of weeks, whatever, last few months, whatever. MoNique said it first. We're going to hold that there. MoNique said it first. And yeah, MoNique said it first. And yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Okay. You know, if you're struggling to get your thoughts together, it's okay. You can call it another day. Or
I'm not struggling to get I just wasn't prepared, but like it's just like because everything she said was facts, because we're not making a lot of money out here. Because like for myself personally, I've been an actor for a few years, you know what I'm saying? And the money ain't money in. So MoNique is just like saying everything that we've all been saying in the back. We've been saying this in the streets for the longest. So I don't understand why we are not all championing what she's saying, because like everything she's saying is facts. I'm not gonna lie, she had me a little bit twisted when she said daddy, I ain't gonna lie. That's the only thing I didn't like, the daddy stuff. But everything MoNique said was facts. Everything she said was facts. It's always been facts. It will always be facts until we change it. Because personally, for me, I've worked on Beyonce's last video album, and like these people disrespect me so much, and it's like I don't want to say like it's not. I don't want to be rude because I came from the hood. So if anybody cannot tolerate disrespect, it ain't. It's me. I'm that type of nigga. I don't do disrespect, but I gotta eat it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta eat it because that nigga literally told me I'm the bottom. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Sam. I'm the bottom of the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy out here. And everybody looks at the outside. You know what I'm saying? It looks good. It's glitz and glam. But I was friends with Chris Brown and his little Jay, whatever his name is, that stylist guy. Everybody like we out here doing what we can. You know what I'm saying? It ain't what it looks like. It is not what it looks like. Everybody broke. Everybody broke. We all broke. You know what I'm saying? We all broke. Mm-hmm. And if they say they not broke, they lying. They lying. But it is what it is because it's glitz and glamours. It's yeah. I'm just so glad I got out of that because she's just speaking fast. I'm gonna say that. If you come to LA, you gonna see what I say. You gonna see what I say is facts. Come to LA, try to live that life, that glitz and glamour. You're gonna do your couple little shows. You're gonna do your little stand-ins. You're gonna stand outside for a couple little $100. If you get that, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be lucky to get that. And hope a nigga bless you. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
I get it. Yeah.
It's hard. It is what it is. It's just facts.
Yeah, it is. It's hard out here. I appreciate you calling in and sharing your perspective. I appreciate you watching. How long you been subscribed?
I think I found you in what was it? I think it was like 2019.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your constant support and your viewership. I appreciate you sharing this video and any others. And I look forward to you participating and calling in on another show.
Want me to tell you what I appreciate the most about you?
What's that?
You don't call us girl.
Oh,
it's a couple of these female commentators who be saying, hey, girl, we're here too. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching too.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know my demographic. I do have more women than male viewers, but I have a great amount of male viewers. So it doesn't serve me to generalize my my viewers as girl. No. Now, if I was still doing makeup content, then yeah, I would. But
that's that consciousness.
Yeah.
That's that consciousness.
It is. Well, thank you for calling in, bumping through your stage fright. You did it. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
All righty. All right. Let's get on to the next caller. Shall we? All right. Kay is coming up. Ooh, that last caller was great, right? Gave us some really educated us on what it is like over there in LA. Gave us some education, special education.
Education, special education, psychiatric medication, juvenile incarceration, emotional frustration, and premature extermination.
Okay. I know y'all got that education from that brother. He kept it real about LA. What is going on, Kay? How are you feeling, and what are your thoughts about the subject tonight?
That was amazing. Like, it was so much education.
It was, wasn't it? I learned a lot. Took me to school.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't want to come in because I don't like to do things where I'm not like well versed in, like I don't know what was said in the interview and all that. Mm-hmm. But I did look at the conversation, and it's basically what she said and what she's been saying. So I do know what she's been saying. And it's like, okay, I understand that, but it's like you are. It's not coming out the right way. It's not reaching people because it's like you just want to just cut people down. Everything that she says is like tearing down another Black person. Black men, Black women, whatever. It's just like with Taraji. Maybe you said it, but it wasn't the right time or the right place, or I don't know. Some kind of way the message is getting lost.
Okay, so you said you didn't watch the interview?
No.
Okay. So I think context matters. I think context really matters. He put it in a really great way, and Shannon Sharpe didn't rush her along, really allowed her to elaborate on the different things. And I don't think that the message is getting lost so that she's not communicating it properly.
So did she? So because before, I was with her, like no lie. When Steve Harvey said what he said, he looked like a fool. And then when she did the recorded call with Tyler Perry, I felt like it was a little bit of invasion of privacy, but it was the truth. So it was like what he really said. So I was cool with that. But as far as the interview, I saved it in my, so I can go back to it. But because I saw you were here live, I came in and I'm just like, dang, like, what did she say? But I didn't hear anybody saying anything about what she said.
Well, I did. I guess you got here late because I said a whole bunch. And one thing about it is, I think a common misconception, especially in our community, is that accountability is an attack. And just because I'm calling you out because you mistreated me or you made a misstep or you got something wrong, it truly means that I want you to improve that. Attacking you would be talking about, I have an issue with your service and I'm attacking the way that you look, your shoes, your family, your wages. That is an attack. She really stays on task with the way that she was treated instead. At no point, even in what she said about Tiffany Haddish today, that's not an attack. The fact is she responded to a jab, an unprovoked jab that she gave to Tiffany Haddish, jabbed MoNique unprovoked.
Wait, enlighten me. Can you tell me what was said?
So Tiffany Haddish did an interview and she said, "Oh, I don't do business like MoNique. I'm not boycotting Netflix, and I'm glad I ain't got that husband of hers." And so MoNique said, "If you had a loving husband like mine, maybe you wouldn't have 2 DUIs and appear to be a child groomer."
What?
Hey, listen, you remember the skit that she did a while ago, right?
Yes.
So again, that's not an attack. That is the truth. This is coming from a single woman saying, "I'm glad I ain't got her husband," when you ain't got no husband or no man at all, because you're constantly in some sort of midlife crisis, downward spiral. You speaking on my relationship, right? And I get it. A lot of us cringe at the daddy thing. Overwhelmingly, that is the general consensus with the general public. However, what does that give you a right to jab at my husband for? What I will tell you, if you had a true man that loved you, you would be more grounded. You wouldn't be out here driving drunk and making these sorts of decisions. And that's the truth. And that's not an attack. She could have went at how she looked. She could have went at where Tiffany Haddish's career is not right now, because it's in hard part. Tiffany ain't doing
She
nothing.
could have went at the videos of her cutting her hair off, and she
But
could have like
but
Britney
but
Spears her.
that
Like,
would
for
be,
real.
some people would look at that as an attack, because what does that have to do with what was said? MoNique kept it very linear and responded to,
Exactly.
if you had the love that I have, since you want to take a jab at my partner and my longtime lover, my best friend turned husband, then maybe your life wouldn't look the way that it looks. Let's just keep it simple. And so when she is holding these people accountable,
The way that she came though, but she snapped though. She snapped with that. Like,
she
if
snapped,
you
but
knew, it was like a love, like when Tabitha came, when
yeah,
when
she went at
Tab
Wendy Williams.
came at Wendy Williams, it was like, yeah, if you knew
Right.
what you, it's like, oh, damn.
Right.
All right.
So, MoNique really, she did not attack anyone in this interview that was done with Shannon Sharpe today. She didn't attack anyone. She told the truth. I'll put it to you like this.
I need you to do another live because I need to watch it, and then because I really will have some insight.
I might open the phone lines, but listen, just listen to this analogy. Have you ever been out specifically with a guy? Because if you're out with women, this really doesn't happen. If you've been out with a guy, right, at a restaurant, and something's going wrong, the server ain't brought you drinks, you've been sitting there for 40 minutes, the food came out before the drinks, y'all ain't getting napkins, the girl had an attitude, you see her back there on her phone, lollygagging, and you're getting horrible service. Your food came out cold, your food came out wrong, this ain't even what you ordered. And you say to that man sitting at that table, I'm about to call the manager because this isn't right. A lot of men get upset because they're like, oh no, just accept it. I'll pay for it. Please don't call nobody over.
Yes.
Have an issue as a woman and as a black, I can't speak for white women. I don't know what the fuck white women go through. I can tell you what black,
because you're not white.
I can tell you a lot of men, even though they know they've experienced the same shitty service that I have. God damn it, your food didn't come out right either. You ordered a T-bone, this is a ribeye. You ordered mashed potatoes, this is broccoli. I ordered macaroni, this is potato salad, and it's all cold. And she's over there talking to her coworkers and on the phone, and I can't even flag her down. And when I do, she has an attitude. I'm about to call the manager, and men will try to be like, no, it's okay. Let's just pay for it and go. They will try. Men in particular are uncomfortable when women decide to say, no, I'm going to bring attention to this because this is not right. I'm not going to pay my money. And if I'm sitting here with you, I'm not going to let you pay your money for food that's incorrect, for shitty service, for food that's cold. And when the server is clearly playing in my face because she's busy laughing and grinning with the bartender, I can tell they fucking, and I can't even get her attention to get a refill of water.
This is so crazy that you saying this because I've been like binging Kitchen Nightmares for like 2 days. And one of the comments in there was saying, you know how a lot of those people, they say, oh, my food is good. And if people say, oh, it's undercooked or it's overcooked, nah, that's right, or whatever. So this one comment said, people take the yes guy for granted. The yes guy is going to come in, eat his food, not be pleased with it, and he's not going to come again. He's going to pay for it. He's going to come in, he's going to pay for the food, he's going to do whatever he's going to do, but he's not going to come back because he had a horrible service, but he's not going to complain about it or anything like that. Like, they feel like because nobody complains about it, nobody says anything, then, oh, the food is good. No, it was shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, again, you'll have some men that just want to, they're willing to pay for it, or they're like, I'll eat it, I'll drink it, just get. And I'm like, I would rather send this back, get this taken off the check, leave without eating, because a lot of times once you complain, even if you do it in a very diplomatic, respectful way, you can't help if your food may or may not be tampered in. But I, sometimes, I've in my days of dating, Men are very apprehensive and get nervous and kind of squeamish when you are beginning to advocate for shitty treatment and you don't want yourself or your date to have to pay for something that came out wrong. This is what I asked for, and it's just not up to par. And don't let me see other people getting treated better than me. Don't let me see that I've been sitting here for 40 minutes and I don't even got drinks, but you rushed over to that white couple. They got drinks in 2 minutes. You took their order. Their food is out, and we still sitting here waiting for you to take ours. I'm going to speak up about this. And if it bothers you that I am, then you know what? This isn't the best fit, but I am going to complain about it, and I'm going to call the manager over here regardless. So, you know, that's my point, just tying this all.
Yeah, I would be the one who's like, okay, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and if you are the type of guy that's not, you don't have to say anything, but if anything happens, and if you're not gonna back me up, like, then we got a problem. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Well, perfect. I appreciate you calling in. We have another caller. Make sure you watch the interview because I might do another call in tomorrow.
Yeah, please do, because I haven't watched it yet, but I love MoNique. Like, I love her, and she has been proven right in so many. Like, when Kat got to talking, everything is coming out.
Kat got to talking and disrespected, and you got to wonder why. Kat was telling his truth, and it made a lot of people uncomfortable, and a lot of people, you know, not to say caught strays, but it was about so many people. But when MoNique does it, is, oh, girl, shut the hell up. Why is that?
Why?
Why?
Right.
And we did get some different stuff out of this.
But it was like, the only reason I feel like it was weird, it was the way it was done. Because it's like, you can say what you gotta say without the daddy and my daddy and his daddy, and I was just like,
but you know what though, and I get that, and she's done that, and that's her relationship, and we can have our own personal issue with how she engages in her relationship. It does really appear to be a loving situation for me. I do find the daddy thing in professional settings to be a bit off-putting, and
right.
But that's her relationship. I can't expect that MoNique is going to carry out her relationship the way I carry out my personal relationship.
But that's the only thing.
If this was a 3-hour interview with Shannon Sharpe, she didn't say daddy not once. She said my husband. Okay? So harping on to the daddy thing. They're harping on to that, and they refuse to let it go because they want to invalidate.
No, I was just thinking, like, when it came out, it was just kind of, looked like, because she was saying that it was all about him, it was surrounded around him, or anything. But I love her. That's like, she was cool. I used to use her recipes and stuff when she cooked and stuff on live, all of that. But I just felt like with it was kind of weird.
We gotta get the thing. Whatever nickname I call I won't even say the nickname I call my boyfriend, but although I don't call him this in professional settings, that's her relationship, and that's how she referred to her husband. Are we going to discredit any of her talking points or invalidate her experience because of what she calls her husband? And I mean, if so, how mature does that make us, and how willing are we to see the landscape and the bigger picture of things if we're willing to harp on her personal relationship and what and it seems as though she's growing, because again, this was a 3-hour conversation. Her husband came up a lot. Not once did daddy come out her mouth. Not once today.
But not even saying that not with her career and things like that, he shouldn't like be that close and things like that for things to happen like that. I just
no. You gotta watch the interview, because he prevented a lot of things from happening. We wouldn't have the recording of Tyler Perry if it wasn't for her husband. This is the reason why Tyler Perry refuses to meet with MoNique again with her husband present, because her husband was present when she was able to record him admitting some shit. So therefore, he refuses.
She did say that. She said that.
To have, so we can't say he shouldn't be there. This is a man advocating for his wife, and he just so happened to be her manager. We can't say that her husband shouldn't be present, because there are sometimes all a man can understand and respect is another man's energy. So sometimes a man's energy versus a woman's energy, you know, women will, not to say will cower, because that kind of implies coward, and that's not what I'm trying to say. But sometimes all a man understands is another piece of testosterone.
Exactly. Now I get what you're saying.
Right to trample over top of women if they get, especially if they're a millionaire and they have money, they will trample over top of women because they can. It's not until another penis enters the chat or enters the conversation
exactly
they realize they cannot get away with the shit that they say to women. So I would never say that her husband.
Now I get what you're saying, literally, because I just had to try to put my car in the shop. Totally different from when I took my car, as opposed to me taking my big cousin, and like totally different price and everything. Yeah, you're right.
They're going to assume that there's a certain level of aloofness to you because a man isn't. So no. You need a man, and you need a man that deeply.
And I even knew what was wrong with the car and said everything that was wrong, but they was trying to say, oh no, I think it's this or I think it's that. I was like, I had to go get my cousin. Like,
it happened. Exactly. You had to bring.
Y'all are crazy.
You had to bring another XY chromosome,
another dick in the building,
and deal with that energy of another XY chromosome. There's certain ways that men will speak to a woman when there's no other man around, and there's a certain way that he won't speak to that woman when there's another man present that is going to advocate for that woman and refuse to allow that sort of disrespect to take place. And that's where I close. We got 2 other callers. Thank you for calling in. Watch the interview, because we might do.
Love you. Please do another live, because I want to. Once I'm informed, I want to call back.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in, and have a good night.
I love you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Will do. Thank you. All right, time for another caller. We got Turquoise. Turquoise is coming up next. You all. This show is becoming longer than I wanted it to, but I think the dialogue is. The dialogue is shaking. Let's see what else we can get out of this conversation. Y'all drop some pancakes in the chat. If you haven't shared this video already, baby, don't make me fight you. We can square it right now. Both me and MoNique from Baltimore. We don't make me hit the damn like button. Subscribe also. And drop some pancakes, and let's get ready for our next caller. We got Turquoise and then Nikki, and that's probably going to be all we're going to be able to do for this evening. So the phone lines are closed. The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. Hey, Turquoise, how are you? And what are your thoughts on the situation?
Hi, Jane. Hi, Stickies. First of all, I just need to tell you, I think I started following you initially when you were covering the R. Kelly trial, and girlfriend, you had me hooked from then. Once I realized that you was clocking T on Robert and you was calling it a spade, I was like, oh, this my girl. But I'm gonna keep my standing down for now. I watched the entire interview, first of all. Like, watched it, listened to her. Because I'll say this. MoNique has said things in the past that have been kind of like, okay, girl. And you're right. I think listening to you, the delivery wasn't always there. But she's been saying the same things for a really long time. Mm-hmm. The difference in this interview is she gave some background information that lended credence to what she was actually saying this entire time. And it made it more valid for me. I mean, it was already, okay, she's been saying this forever. She's not just saying this over and over again just to hear herself talk. Mm-hmm. But I think my respect level for her grew so much just because of her delivery, because of how honest she was. She sat down. She was very transparent. She's always been a person who will call out those big guns. And that's one of the things that has put her in the situation that she's in, unfortunately, because most people will tap dance around these folks. She went into detail about how Taraji called out the whole situation with the color purple, and then went back and apologized. Right? So people are afraid to address these folks because they understand based off of history, not just MoNique, other people who have called out, you know, people that are higher up in whatever their industry is, being blackballed and being put in situations where they cannot feed their family. So for me, when it comes down to MoNique as a person, I can't, first of all, I'm not in that lady bedroom or her marriage. So whatever she called her husband is her business, baby. I mean, hey, look, was it cringy? Absolutely a little cringy. But that doesn't have anything to do with how valid the words that are coming out of her mouth are for me. So I feel like, you know, it's important that we have these people in these industries in different areas that are willing to speak up when other people might be afraid to, might not have the courage to do so, because we didn't get this far in the world, in the, especially here in this ghetto USA, without people standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's just the reality of the situation. For some reason with MoNique, maybe it's just based off of the history of her delivery, people refuse to see facts for what they are. But at the end of the day, she's been saying this for a long time. She's not the only one. It's just maybe the way it came out. People didn't want to hear her. And I think people got to get off that and start listening to the message and ignoring the messenger, because that's one of the main things that she spoke about in this interview. It's not always the message. It's sometimes the messenger. If you have a tainted idea of the messenger, you're not going to hear the message. People need to start listening because she's speaking facts. So, you know, I agree. I think she did a great job. I think DL Hughley is a super clown for the way he behaves in general. Not just this incidents with his own family, clown-ish. And he's given Nicki Minaj behavior because he seems hurt. It's given hurt in general. Like, okay, you're a grown ass man. Listen, the way he came at her was real hard. And when they can't say nothing about the truth coming out your mouth, they talk about your appearance.
Yep. Absolutely.
So for me, you know what I'm saying? I think it was a great interview. I think anybody that hasn't watched it in its entirety does need to go and give it a chance, regardless to how you feel about MoNique from past experience. And then she said, if you don't listen to it, you're not going to understand. But this lady, she did a phenomenal job on this interview, in my opinion.
She did. She absolutely did. I hope it doesn't stop, because, you know, advocacy and people can be buried if you don't continue to repeat and reiterate yourself. This is why I think it's so important. I have my segment at the end of my shows when I'm talking about several topics where we talk about Black history, because we be shaming the tactics that our ancestors use. Our ancestors didn't just stand up one time and say, this is wrong, racism ain't right, we should be treated better, and sit the hell down. They had to stand up on a daily basis and make it their business that people do not forget this message and this sort of mistreatment. And for the people that didn't hear it, hoping that the next time and the next time and the next time that people hear it, and even refining the message. Okay, you know what, I said it this way next time. Maybe next time I can say it like this, and bettering how they can really get this out to more people. And that is part of being a good speaker and a good storyteller, and most importantly, a good advocate for the betterment of your people. Everything that MoNique is doing and talk about is not selfish. It's for the betterment of our community in large. She is truly worried about the Black women and the Black girls and the Black people who are going to come behind her. Again, like my analogy earlier, if you are replacing somebody in $80,000 position, the white lady doing the same thing at your job is making $80,000, but the person before you that you're replacing is making $55,000. Do you think coming in that door they will offer you the fair $80,000, or you think they might offer you between $50,000 and $60,000? The less we continue to accept over time, the lower the things that we receive are going to continuously become, and it is a cycle. It's a cycle. Right. And I think we need to stop shaming MoNique for what she went through. Oh, she should have negotiated better. Oh, if she didn't want to be there, then, oh, she's sharing some mistakes that she has made. And that is a brave thing to do. Stop acting like it's not okay, or it's foreign, or we're going to clown people when they come forward about mistakes. Because if it wasn't about some people coming out and telling you what mistakes they made and what to look out for, you wouldn't know how to advocate and negotiate for better.
Even with her being willing to talk about how much they offered her in the first place, which she didn't have to tell us. She didn't have to tell us how much Netflix offered her. Her coming out with that information, which I mean, for most people would be embarrassing, just because she is a legend in her own right. They can't take that from her. Most people wouldn't even come out and say that honestly. And then when it comes to people with businesses, I have a small business. Can't nobody tell me what to charge for my products. I'm going to charge what I feel like I'm worth. So we can't tell her what she should accept and how she should go about handling her business when she's been in the game that long. It's when somebody else is in that same position, they get it. But when you see somebody that's not you sitting there, you want to tell them they need to be humble. You don't get to tell people that. And maybe, again, maybe her delivery wasn't right, but at the same time, they want women to be demure and be all, soft and Summer Walker, mind your mouth. Hush girl, mind your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to turn them off. You don't want to piss them off. You want everybody to be all in their soft girl era and come at you a certain type of way. And I'm not saying don't be respectful, but just because she's not sitting here and begging and pleading for them to give her more money and she's demanding what she's worth doesn't mean it's invalid. It's absolutely valid. And she has every right to do so.
Absolutely. The same way she drove up to Hollywood and she thought that what she was getting was the stars and the moon as far as, payment wise on the Parkers.
Because that was crazy.
Later,
did you know that?
I feel like she told half of that story before, but I definitely learned more about it.
That was wild.
Within this interview. So it's like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you should have negotiated better or just walked away. No, she shared it because the next Black person coming behind her will think that they don't have any other options and they'll just be happy that Netflix is offering them anything. And they will accept the $500,000 instead of understanding what the other counterparts are being offered. So her sharing that was a bold move, and her sharing her ignorance in the beginning and her being slighted later on, all of it ties into creating a better understanding as to our options and what we need to be demanding and what we need to be refusing to accept within any given industry when it comes to being paid for whatever work we put in. I don't give a fuck if you sweeping or mopping the floors of the fucking McDonald's. If the fucking other janitor on the other shift is being paid 16 and you're being paid 13 or 12, goddamn it, fucking say something. So it's not just about Hollywood or the entertainment industry. It's about pay and treatment in general. You remember that man at Burger King who had been working there for 25 years and they gave him a damn keychain?
Or the Macy's lady that got that damn plaque. Cause she, yeah. But you know what, Jane? I don't want to hold up your line. I do want to say one more thing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. When it comes to conversations about generational wealth in our community, I hear a lot of Black people talking about where our disadvantages come from. We know that, over time, the clear people have gotten us in their own ways, right? They've disadvantaged us in many ways. Gosh, we're still trying to recover. However, one of the things that these communities do, like you see Jewish communities, you see white communities, they give their kids game. You hear me? When it comes to finances, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to all these things that will propel you forward in life, the things that we are trying to gain as a Black community, they are giving their kids this game. MoNique is giving people game right now because she doesn't have to share her experiences in Hollywood so that people understand, hey, you can ask for this. This is when you're syndicated. This is when you know you can ask for a raise after this long. These are things that she doesn't have to give us. Every time I see somebody talk about disadvantages, one of the things that's mentioned is the fact that we don't have the knowledge, or our parents or our ancestors didn't have the knowledge. Here is an elder who is trying to give knowledge, and instead of saying thank you for that, that's helpful information, getting a notepad, writing it down, they want to tell her to shut up. How the hell are we supposed to propel forward if every elder that comes along and tells us something that's, going to propel us forward is going to have to shut the hell up? That's crazy.
Very good point. Very good point. Because a lot of people are very tight-lipped about how their money works, in the workplace or in a certain space, whatever the arena may be.
Buying homes, any of that. When I bought my house, people were telling me you have to have an 800 credit score. When I found out what your credit score has to be, do you know every time I get a chance, I'm telling somebody, this is not what you think it is. It's not as hard as you think it is, because we deserve to come up. And it's not about harboring the information or gatekeeping it. We only do that if we share information, but we can't be over here mad and telling people to shut the hell up when they're trying to help. That's crazy.
Ooh, girl, what you saying is really on point. I'm probably going to clip this call and upload it by itself. Oh my goodness, giving
Girl,
game.
don't make me blush over here, Jade. Ooh.
I'm serious. Giving game.
I mean, I was just hyped. You know, I'm not even gonna hold you. I've been listening, and I'm like, I watch you all the time, and you be preaching anyway. You don't. It's not very often that I come to your channel and I see bullshit. It's not gonna happen. And I'm not going to say that we agree on every single thing, but most things we absolutely do because you just have good ass common sense. Sorry for my French. You have common sense and you understand life and where we're trying to go and where we've been. And sometimes people are not really looking at the full picture or the bigger picture. I think that's the problem with them looking at MoNique now. What does her calling her husband daddy have to do with the fact that she's giving game out and she's literally calling people out for their BS so that other people don't go through the same thing? That's crazy.
Exactly. I began tweeting about it. I found out she was on set with the Will Packer, this Christmas movie by Will Packer. The damn trailers exploded. I'm like, what the hell? The whole story about Will Packer was crazy. And I had this guy just commenting. She should have negotiated better. She just need to shut up and move on. And it's about money. And I'm like, most of what she said today really kind of wasn't about money. It was about
respect and treatment of other people. People that were not her, by the way. People that were in situations where they were being mistreated and she saw it and she called it out. That's not even financial in any way, shape, or form. She wanted people to be respected.
So I gave a summary and he was like, passive aggressive, thanks for the editorial, but I would have negotiated what I wanted. And I'm like, you're still missing the point. Context matters. You haven't even seen the interview, but you're popping off. And I've already told you to have a good day. And you're like, no, come back here. MoNique is from my city. And she should have. And I said, let's get one thing clear. MoNique is from our city. Let's get this straight. Let's get that straight. I'll be damned if you try to base it me with some all caps talking about MoNique is from my city. Bitch, I'm born and raised in Baltimore, period. And I'm still fucking here. Do not fucking play these games with me.
Baltimore from head to toe. And then on top of that, the last thing that irritated me was the whole, oh, her husband. That's also her manager. And he is trying to protect his queen, regardless of how people see it, because we don't get to see very much of him. He plays his background role, right? But as soon as he came out and started advocating for her, all these women were like, oh, he needs to go sit down, blah, blah. First of all, are we always talking about protect Black women? He's trying in his own way to protect his Black woman. Okay. So that man being being that he plays multiple roles, not just her husband, who are we to tell that man to go sit down? We don't know the inner workings of her business. So if you don't want to talk to me because my husband's going to advocate for me and he's not going to let you talk around me like mechanics do to women when they take their car in because they think they don't know what they're talking about, then, you don't have to have a conversation because you're not going to do it.
Especially in a male-dominated industry. For some reason, it's like people weren't even this upset when they found out Ken Do, aka Ken Don't.
Ken Day.
And they found out
Ken Dance.
Kelvin Hunter. They weren't even that upset when they found it out. At the end of the day, we're talking about a male-dominated industry. Can a woman work it? Yes, but ultimately she's going to need some sort of allegiance from a man that actually gives a fuck about her in order to truly succeed in an industry that is filled with mostly penises, with mostly XY chromosomes. You're going to need that. Otherwise, they're always going to paint you out to be a bitch. And they're going to band together and gaslight you and put things out to the public. You're going to need a piece of testosterone that is actually on your side, that is not draining your bank account, that truly has your best interest. Everybody knows that the entertainment industry is very male dominated, especially when it comes to decision making. You might have, you'll have female talent on the screen, but as far as the back end and negotiating your deals and how you're treated and demanding more or rising, it's men. It's mainly men. So,
and in those rooms, they'll talk circles around you if they feel like they can. But outside of that, I never even knew she had this man until all this stuff came out about Netflix. That's when he popped his face up for me. I didn't know this man. He hasn't been just running her entire career. That narrative has to stop in general. Well, as soon as he pops out to try to protect her because everybody's saying she should have settled and she should have just taken what she was given, he pops out to defend his wife. And all of a sudden it's, oh, well, where he come from? Oh, she needs to let him go. He needs to go sit down. That's crazy. That's absurd. Because if mine don't ride for me, I don't know. I don't want them.
And if you're not business savvy enough to understand what I do to at least, because men can see stuff that we can't. We have different perspectives and different experiences that we've lived.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I might go into a room and completely miss something that a man can see, especially business-wise. If you can't be next to me and at least just be extra eyes and ears and let me know what you saw that I did not, then what the fuck is this? This is my passion. This is what I live and breathe. And this is, you know, this is what pays our bills. I do want some insight from you to understand how these niggas might be getting over on me. Because I can't do that at all. And it's not, you know, and to worry about being the on-screen talent and to learn the behind the scenes and to negotiate and to bring up complaints and to draft the contracts and to do this without a man truly by your side to do that, I can see how quite difficult that can be. This is why Taraji Henson talks about, I fired my whole team this one time. I fired my whole team another time. You can hire whoever, depending on whatever their resume is, until there are people who are actually loyal to you for the right reasons and aren't just trying to get a paycheck over you. And this could be man, woman, intersex, whatever the hell.
Yep.
You might find yourself at a disadvantage because as a celebrity, you will have yes men and yes women and yes people around you who won't tell you about the dangers of what you're experiencing. They're just worried about this payday next week because y'all are close to signing this goddamn contract. And they'll see things wrong, but they won't say anything because you might pump the brakes and say, oh, wait a minute. You said this wasn't right. Let's hold off on signing this contract then. They about to do me dirty. Some people won't tell you that you're about to be done dirty because they just want the payday next week. So I think it's very admirable that that she has her husband behind her. I think that a lot of people were thrown off by the daddy thing, and that's why a lot of people kind of dismissed him and whatever the case is. But I don't know. I wonder if she's turning over a new leaf because, again, she didn't say daddy one time in this.
Not one time.
Yeah, I didn't hear daddy not one time in this, and I paid close attention. So
the daddy thing just made me cringy because of Robert, but you know, I mean, and because it's a little, but mostly because of him.
Yeah. It's just cringy in general, but you know, I've learned to get past it. What am I going to do? Discount everything she says just because of the word that, like, okay, that's what she does. I don't like it. It's kind of like when you have friends. You might have a friend that's a swinger and you might find that to be gross, but am I going to stop being friends with you because that's what you do in your relationship?
That's not my bedroom. That's your bedroom, girlfriend. That's your business.
And move on. So
still a good person. Just that's your thing, not mine.
That's what it is. Oh, this was great. I am so glad you called in. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was a great conversation, Jane. Enjoy the rest of your night.
I sure will. I think I'm tired, but sometimes when I'm tired, I can't go to sleep. So I guess I'll just be editing.
Yes, ma'am.
You enjoy the rest of your day. What is it? Friday? It's a Thursday? Thursday.
Yes, okay. Girl, these days just be running together.
They sure do, child. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and thank you for your support and viewership.
Thank you, hon.
All righty. Have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, such a great conversation. Such a great conversation. I'm so glad that she called in. Oh, I am so glad that she called in. Oh, shout out to my mods, because somebody is big hurt in the comments. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I kept. Oh yeah, I'm glad you kept it too. Keep your energy and save your energy. You know, the fact that you disagree and you feel the need to call me a bitch in the comments, it tells me all that I need to know about you. It's given very much 12-year-old up past their curfew, under the covers, against their mother's direction to use the internet. And I truly do hope that you get well soon, my sweet baby. So telling me you unsubscribed and telling me you were about to spend a $1.99 super chat and then saying bye, bitch, because I'm on the phone with another caller and we're vibing and you don't enjoy or you can't respect the difference of opinion. It tells me all I need to know about you. And I've seen that 2 of my mods have timed you out a couple of different times and tried to give you chances. And I have to be tuned into the conversation, but had it been me in the comments, I would have blocked you from the beginning. Okay. You're too immature for this type of grown woman ass commentary. We're talking about grown woman and grown people shit and being mature enough to rise above certain things and see the bigger picture in life. You It's edifying for you to call somebody a bitch online because you disagree with their perspective. And the perspective is all about demanding respect for Black people, and not only for Black women, but for Black men as well. And if that offends you, please fucking unsubscribe. As a matter of fact, I said something like that earlier in the video. I invited people to unsubscribe. No one needs distractors like you here. You're a distractor. I've seen a lot of people on my chat trying to get you together or ask you to call in or try to get you to stop and really try to reason with you. There is no reasoning with insanity and with crazy people and people with undiagnosed mental illnesses. And I truly think that it would benefit you to see a therapist. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and instead of you clicking off of this video that clearly triggers you to this extent, you stay here and you type derogatory things as if you're in a bathroom stall writing in high school or middle school, maybe. I would say I'm going to pray for you, but I'm not going to waste my time talking to God about you. I hope you pray for your fucking self. All right now. Everybody that came a long way in life. It seemed like this person got a lot of a longer way to go. That's ciao. I'm growing, child. I'm growing. All right. I used to get in this bag, and I used to get real nasty with people that would get nasty with me. But matching energy isn't always conducive. Just because you're being low vibrational and stupid and really coming off a little Krishan, a little slow bus, it's giving you were in the special classes in high school. It doesn't mean that I have to stoop to your fucking level, because I'm so much taller than that. The bar is in hell, and I'm not reaching down there for you. But I will politely tell you about yourself and how your kind, unintelligent people like you are not welcome and should not come here. It's going to bother you. This level of intelligence and shit that you can't comprehend because you're a bit delayed, it's going to bother you. I just recommend you stay away. And if you continue to show up, that is you torturing yourself, and that's on you. It is another indicator that you enjoy chaos. And you refuse to step away from shit that does not serve you. Clearly, my commentary, this subject matter, and the betterment of Black people does not serve you. So fucking go, babes. Go. Be free. Use the free. You got your papers. Slavery's over, babe. You're not chained to this. So, with that being said, I want to give a sticky note, but this video has already been like long enough. Oh, shout out to Priscilla for sending the Cash App. Thank you so much. Let me see. I have a couple of channel member comments. Ain't no way. Okay. Okay, so Nia sent $10. I meant to get to this earlier, but I was so caught up in my comments. I lost all respect for DL when he prayed for his side chick's child to, oh, he did. I do remember that. He prayed for his side chick's child to DIE. And the way he described that was so cringe, straight trash. Whatever she said he did that ish. I know that's right. And shout out to Miss D. Atkinson for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you. I do appreciate y'all's support. I saw some people asking about the Discord. I will drop that backstage sometime this week for any new people who are looking to join the membership. Hey, shout out to Ricky for being a new subscriber. A good late night read. And I wasn't even trying to read. I wasn't even trying to read. It's just see yourself out. It's not a fucking airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Get out of here. The hell? Shit. No situational awareness. I think they really just wanted some attention. I think they wanted some attention and they caused a lot of chaos in the chat. And I intentionally ignored it because I saw my mods were handling it. But you know what? It is what it is. And this was, if anybody wants to bless, oh, thank you. Yeah, if y'all want to bless me for my birthday, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. This was such an interesting conversation. It got really, really, really good at the end, and I really enjoyed that. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Well, tomorrow. Today is technically tomorrow because it's early in the morning. But I will see y'all tomorrow. I have a couple of things planned tomorrow. I have a live plan for tomorrow. I also have an edited video planned for tomorrow. I put out an edited video right before I went live with this one. So we are definitely staying busy over here when it comes to the syrup, when it comes to the Black news and celebrity updates. We are coming back with the energy. Be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe to the damn channel because your girl Jane is back. Okay? I've been going for a minute now. I'm back in the jump off and the momentum is here. The inspiration and the creativity is here. Okay. So, okay, y'all do keep asking about the Discord. So I'm gonna write that down so I can share it on the members only tomorrow. I will only be sharing the Discord link on the middle floor. So if you don't, when you join my channel, there are 3 tiers. I believe the tiers are, what are they? $199, $299, $399, and $499, something like that. So the middle tier, the $399 tier, that is where the $399 tier and up is where I will be dropping the Discord link. So that's just how that's going to go, just to let you know. So if you are on the bottom tier, you won't see the Discord link, at least not now. I'm just very cognizant of my energy and not letting like too many people in at one time. And so, yeah, we have a really good energy and vibe in the Discord, and we just don't need any interruptions with people who haven't really felt each other out yet. So that's the reason why we put it on the middle floor. Maybe sometime next month, I'll drop it on the lower tier. I always play it by ear just to see how it goes. Okay. All right. Listen, I love you all so much. I love you all so much. Support the show in any way you can. Hit the like, subscribe, or hit up the Cash App with a couple of dollars. Okay. Not required, but definitely appreciated. But hitting the like button is required. But should MoNique shut up now, or should she continue to talk? I pass the question off to you, Stickies. What are your thoughts and where do you land with this? This has been an amazing show. I appreciate y'all's viewership, y'all's participation, y'all staying up late. Let me know if I got y'all through y'all work shift or waking up in your commute in the morning, whatever it is that you are doing. Be sure to tag me in all of your favorite trending topics on Instagram and on Twitter. Thank you for checking the community tab. Don't forget to do something to decompress today or tonight. And listen, y'all make sure to stay beautiful, Black, and blessed until the next time I see you. Okay? We're going to go ahead and head out of here, and I will see y'all tomorrow, aka later on today. Deuces. But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.